President Bola Tinubu is expected back on Tuesday after cutting short his vacation and confirming he will return to official duties. The president left Nigeria for France on September 4 to spend part of his holiday abroad, with an initial plan to split the break between France and the United Kingdom. This marks his 7th trip to Paris since taking office in May 2023 and his first foreign engagement since attending the BRICS summit in Russia and the TICAD 9 meeting in Japan earlier this year. Now let's quickly bring in Todimu, who's a lawyer, to help us unwrap what it should mean to have the president return at this time. Mr. Ige, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. So from raging insecurity to industrial disputes and even politics, there's so much going on already. What should be the president's priority when he returns?
All right, thank you for having me. Ordinarily, now that the president is back, we won't expect him, as he often would want to say, that he wants to ease the ground running. Now, the first step is to, of course, look into the security issues that is facing the nation, because it appears like we are under siege. If you look at most of the states of this country, there is no day or no time that you would not hear of one sabotage or the other. So that means that it needs to meet with the security chiefs and ensure that they face the security risk and threats that we are currently facing as a nation. That's number one. Number two, I would, if I were in his shoes, and of course what I would advise that the president does at this time is to also ensure that there's economic stability. Because if you feel the pulse of Nigerians all over, you will see that people are complaining that the incentives and whatever the government is doing, yes, it's appearing good on paper, but it's not trickling down to the masses. And number three, of course, is that the president will meet with the people, show face more. That's what I mean. By that, I mean that there should be more public communication and reassurance to the people. We need to hear from our president from time to time. What steps are being taken? How are you taking these steps? When do we expect to feel this relief? We need to hear from the president. We elected him and want to see him from time to time, not via communication strategies and all that. He gives a more personal tone when the president addresses the nation and is seen often, not on not boarding airplanes and speaking to us directly. So I think that those are the three areas. Of course, there are more, but the three areas are the cogent ones that he must face as a matter of urgency.
Well, thank you very much, Todimu. But now, so cutting his holiday short has sparked plenty of interest. Some people are asking, why France every single time? But what are the implications of President Tinubu's frequent international trips on Nigeria's development, do you think?
Well, ordinarily, one would say that if the president travels so often, there's the area of delegation. The president, can these trips be delegated to ministers? Can it be delegated to the Minister of Foreign Affairs as opposed to the president hopping on the plane every time? That's on one side. Number two, now, if the president travels, if he feels that it is important, has he handed over power or delegated the assignment and tasks to people who are competent? Because as a matter of fact, when the president travels, it appears that the running of the country takes a back burner and it is slower in terms of implementation and all that. So if the president is to travel, ordinarily one would expect that work will go on in the country and people will feel the effect. People will not feel the effect of his absence, but the opposite is the case. And if that is the situation, then it is best advised that the president, anytime if he warrants that he has to travel, then the governance of the nation must not stop, because we elected him into the office not for traveling, but for us to feel the effect of governance, and that must be addressed. The people are the people are the priority. Yes, this traveling, these trips, they will say that he portrays or portends economic value for the nation in the long run. Then we need to, people are crying, and we need to feel the effect of the government immediately.
So you spoke about the president delegating duties to maybe ministers or even a vice president, but we haven't seen any of that communication in some of the many visits that the president has made out of Nigeria. Would you say maybe this last time it's attributed to the fact that it was called a working visit or a working vacation, working holiday is what he called it? What are the implications there if he chooses to run Nigeria from outside the country?
Well, ordinarily, that's an intelligent question, and you have pretty much captured the pulse of the people. Because the truth of it is that if you say that it is a working holiday, there is, and considering the work ethics that we have now, people work hybrid, people work remotely. The governance of a nation cannot be done remotely. We need you to be on ground. And I'll give you an example of security situation. Yes, of course, you have capable chief of army staff, you have security people, but if you are on ground, people see you that the president has visited these areas. It sends a stronger message that the government is serious about these issues. If there are disasters that the president is on ground, people would understand it. But by the time that half of the year you are on the plane, you are out of the country, it doesn't portray seriousness and handling these matters as effectively as it ought to be done. So what I would say is that yes, it can work, working visit abroad. But what happens to your office in Abuja? What are you doing abroad? What work are you doing from a distance that cannot be done in Nigeria? Except there are other reasons why he has to travel. Mm-hmm. That is not disclosed to the populace.
Okay, so why France? Why France is what we keep asking ourselves. How does President Tinubu's diplomatic efforts with world leaders such as Emmanuel Macron impact Nigeria's economy and security interests? Do you think there are matters of development here for Nigeria that France is perhaps maybe offering that are being discussed?
Well, if France is offering us better economic ties or security upgrade, that is yet to be seen. And like you said, over time, why France? Why France? There are other countries in Europe, there are other countries in Asia that can, of course, offer Nigeria better value as opposed to France, except there's a personal interest in France that the president is monitoring or looking at. But as it stands, from what is the public information that we have, I don't think that there's anything extraordinary that France is offering us that we can not get anywhere else.
Now, what about the visits to other countries and international summits? Do you think they contribute to Nigeria's foreign policy objectives?
Very well. The truth of it is that we cannot shy away from these foreign trips. We cannot shy away from these strategic collaborations, because no man is an island. Same way no country is an island. We need strategic involvement. We need to, of course, intertwine and mingle with these nations. But the truth of it is that if this must happen, we must ensure that the reasons for the visit it doesn't have to be every time, but the country can actually benefit if we collaborate intelligently and ensure that there's something for the nation.
Mr. Todimu, thank you very much for a very intelligent input there. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.